I think we can all agree that the biggest story of the weekend, the one that did the most for national morale, the one that has encouraged everyone in a season of worry and division, was the Cleveland Browns' magnificent beating of the Cowboys yesterday, 49-38. I think we can all agree on that. And Odell Beckham Jr. stay in Cleveland. Now, to the other story, the president. I think he's going to be released from Walter Reed today. I think it's been the strangest 72 hours in my media career since, 9/11. I do not really quite know what to say. I'm going to ask your reaction to it. 1-800-520-1234. I would encourage you to cover it this way or ask me this way, respond to me. Who did the best job covering this? I don't want any media bashing. I want to know, who do you think did a fine job of covering the president's diagnosis, trip to Walter Reed, and expected release today, his 2 videos, and his trip in the car? Who did the best job? Who did the best job of covering the doctors and covering the press conferences? And I expect, if you're not a Twitter user and you don't watch cable, you have a completely different view of this than did everybody else. Now, while you're lining up calls, I'm going to go and play for you Tom Cotton. Senator Cotton was on Maria Bartiromo yesterday, and I want you to hear what he had to say about Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett to be. She's not yet a Supreme Court Justice. She's going to be one. Cut number 17.
Yeah, Maria, thanks for the question. I'm doing fine. I extend my deepest wishes to the President and the First Lady and every American who's been affected by this virus to get well very quickly. I've been in contact with my colleagues who are either tested positive or who have been exposed to someone who tested positive. And to my knowledge, as of last night, everyone remains either asymptomatic or has mild symptoms that hasn't required hospitalization. What I can say is that everyone is eager to be at work when they need to be at work. They're on the Judiciary Committee a week from tomorrow, either in person or virtually, to have the confirmation hearings for Judge Barrett and then to have the vote on Judge Barrett this month. The President has nominated an outstanding jurist to be on the Supreme Court. I visited with her this week. It only confirmed my high opinion of her. I suspect that's going to be the case of the American people when they see Judge Barrett at her confirmation hearing starting a week from tomorrow, and none of this should have any impact on the schedule of the Senate, either the Judiciary Committee or the Senate as a whole.
Very interesting take, very calm, very collected. That's Tom Cotton for you. He continued, cut number 18.
No doubt about it, Maria. Several of the senators who are in isolation right now would come out of isolation before those hearings begin. But the Senate Judiciary Committee has also conducted 20 hearings this year that have either been in part or in whole virtual. Many Senate Democrats who are now saying we couldn't possibly do a virtual hearing were demanding throughout this year, going back to March, that all committees be conducted over Zoom or WebEx or some other kind of virtual hearing. So the hearing is going to go forward, no doubt in my mind, starting a week from tomorrow, Maria. And then on the Senate floor later this month, first off, I think every senator who's currently tested positive or is in isolation will be back to work under normal conditions, as other senators have been as well, like Rand Paul or Tim Kaine. But if that's not the case, Maria, there is a long and venerable tradition of ill or medically infirm senators being wheeled in to cast critical votes on the Senate floor. Most recently, Robert Byrd in 2009 repeatedly rolled in a wheelchair just months before his death to vote for Obamacare. So I'm confident that every senator will be in attendance when his or her vote is needed.
That is what, the vote's going to happen. The hearings are going to happen. They're going to hear it happen remotely for anyone who wants to do it remotely. Don't be alarmed. Amy Coney Barrett is going on the Supreme Court. Now, understand the Democrats want to pack the Supreme Court. They're very radical, and they want to pack the Supreme Court. They want to end the Senate filibuster. They want to make the District of Columbia a state, which is, in my view, unconstitutional. I'm not opposed to making Puerto Rico a state if they want to become a state. I've always been that way, but not the District of Columbia. That is unconstitutional. Meanwhile, we had Dr. Brian Garibaldi at Walter Reed yesterday say this, cut number 2.
Today he feels well. He's been up and around. Our plan for today is to have him to eat and drink, be up out of bed as much as possible, to be mobile. And if he continues to look and feel as well as he does today, our hope is that we can plan for a discharge as early as tomorrow to the White House, where he can continue his treatment course.
Excellent news. Great news. President's going to be fine. And I've been saying that since Friday when I saw him walk out of the White House because of my experience with people with the virus. One of them has died. Many of whom have recovered. It's just my experience extrapolated. And I believe when we get the results, now very high-profile people across the country have had the virus, beginning with the president, you're getting higher profile than that, all the way, Tom Hanks and everybody else. I think we're going to see a renewal of the debate about Sweden and whether or not Sweden did the right thing, which was to let people voluntarily social distance with an emphasis on keeping old, medically fragile people away. But here's the president himself. And just in the event you didn't pay any attention, you just watched the Browns game over and over again, which would be acceptable in my view. Cut number one.
We're getting great reports from the doctors. This is an incredible hospital, Walter Reed. The work they do is just absolutely amazing, and I want to thank them all, the nurses, the doctors, everybody here. I've also gotten to meet some of the soldiers and the first responders, and what a group. I also think we're going to pay a little surprise to some of the great patriots that we have out on the street, and they've been out there for a long time, and they've got Trump flags, and they love our country. So I'm not telling anybody but you, but I'm about to make a little surprise visit. So perhaps I'll get there before you get to see me. But I just, when I look at the enthusiasm, and we have enthusiasm like probably nobody's ever had. Our people that love the job we're doing, we have more enthusiasm than maybe anybody. So it's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it, and it's a very interesting thing, and I'm going to be letting you know about it. In the meantime, we love the USA, and we love what's happening. Thank you.
So he went out and waved at his supporters. Now, what did you make? My question is, who did the best job covering these 72 hours? That's my positive way of putting it. John in Delaware, who did the best job of covering the last 72 hours?
Morning glory, Hugh. I
Thank
think
you, John.
Donald John Trump did the best job covering his illness on the Twitter feed, and everybody else that covered it.
I don't want any negative. I just want positive. So you think the president
Donald
did the
John Trump did the best job.
Thank you, sir. Randy in Texas, who did the best job covering it?
I think Newsmax did.
See, I don't follow Newsmax that closely. How did they cover it?
They had lots of stories on it. Almost every one of their anchors had something to say about it, and they had a lot of different people commenting on it. And what I love about it is they don't have a bunch of libtards on it.
Okay, Randy, stop. Drop that, guys. We don't use that term ever. Edith in Southern California. Hi, Edith. Who did the best job covering it?
Well, I just wanted to say that I appreciate your trying to, instill confidence in where we are on the right, but I would like to hear that it's by the grace of God.
Of course.
Okay.
Look, a lot of people have died. And so obviously people who get better are grateful for getting better. But, God is in control of everything. I hope you listen later, Edith, when Rod Dreher's on.
Okay.
Got a great new book out, Live Not by Lies, about Solzhenitsyn admonition to the West. And I think it's very timely. It's also very dire about religious liberty in the West, but I'm not sure it'll be that bad. Thank you, Edith. It'll especially not be that bad if you support Alliance Defending Freedom. In fact, a senior at Florida State University was forced to be silent. A Catholic student in a Catholic public chat room. Listen to this.
They voted to remove Jack as the Senate president simply for sharing Catholic views in a Catholic group chat with other Catholic students. And Jack was removed by a vote of 33-3, and that vote lasted for more than 5 hours.
All right, so here's what I want you to know. You can help religious liberty in the United States by donating to Alliance Defending Freedom during the break. I just tweeted it out. There's a banner at the top of HughHewitt.com. It says, "Will you fight for your freedom?" Please go or call 866-359-9644.